Hello everybody, I'm here now in this beautiful town of Kataisi, the former capital of that beautiful country. You see basically only green. We are entering now the town. It's the former capital, it's very beautiful, and I want to show you some of the impressions I have here. You know, it looks very similar to all of the southeastern European countries, and it's very similar country to all of the others who we should go together in the European Union, because that's ultimately the aim of the European Union. We will be much stronger and these countries will be much richer. Because you see the situation, economically development, the food is excellent here. You have this exactly same situation when you enter into Ukraine, as I've shown you on many of my videos and Facebook posts. And you see the country is of course in development. What I really love, they have this wonderful European flag at the airport. They have this will for Europe. But of course the reality is difficult. The tragic legacy of the Soviet Union, the underdevelopment, the chaotic development of the last 20 years. I've made actually a wonderful interview with Gia Yandari. I cannot meet him here now because he's in Sweden, about the economic history of Georgia, which is a wonderful, wonderful activity, and you can watch it. It's a 3.5-hour interview about the whole economic development Georgia the last 32 years since the end of the communism. The 9th of April 89 was here the turning point, the so-called Tivlis massacre, where many people were killed by the Soviet forces, and now they are basically recovering after, let's say, it's exactly now, soon 20 years of revolution and activity for pro-Europe, which is basically then the Rose Revolution in December and January 2003 and 4. This was the turning point towards Europe. These were the moments when the big enlargement happened in the European Union of EU and NATO, and then of course Georgia opted towards the West. Yeah? On this video you see the reality of rural poverty on the suburbs of one of the regional capitals. There is a very distinct and strong regional culture here in this beautiful country. I will also go to Guria, which is very much my interest, because Guria should be a partner town of Upper Austria. I will talk about that one, and I will talk about the whole concept of federalism, about the alliance with southeastern Europe. Here, palm trees. I love all countries with palm trees. And you see, here is a lot to be done, a lot to be done in terms of showing you the reality of the suburbs. Yeah? But this can only be achieved inside the European Union. And I say it again so that it's very clear, inside the European Union, and fast. So Georgia needs the euro, that's absolutely the case. And it's about the same situation like in Macedonia or like in Albania, and from the macroeconomic conditions, maybe a little bit less developed than Montenegro, but ultimately, by the way, Montenegro is the real development model here, and we should really go into that direction. And this is the way forward for the future, to be active and to be successful, and to really make sure that we bring this country fast track now into the European Union. Sarkatlevo Europa was my slogan for this time. I will see how much of Georgian I will learn during this trip, but I'm fully motivated because I see, you know, of course Tbilisi, I will show you Tbilisi as well, looks already wonderful, developed, but when you see in the regions, of course there is an enormous task to be done to bring the whole country to the European level of prosperity, and they also have better GDP for everybody. And this can be only done under European standards of development. Here they have the European flag. Bravo! I love countries with the European flag. This is fantastic. And you see, of course, when you see the past, the disaster, they have been from the end. Actually, it was already quite tragic. The Russian Empire, I'm not getting tired to repeat, it was already a disaster in the 19th century. There was just a little bit of development, and then there was a real, and they were very unfortunate in their geographic position, always torn between Iran and Turkey and Russia. Of course, the people of the Southern Caucasus have this tragic legacy, and that is the fact. And then of course they were forced into the Soviet Union brutally, and it looks quite similar here, let's say, to the outskirts of Kijevo or to other areas some 10 years ago in Kosovo and in Macedonia. And that's definitely the task now, with a clear, firm, EPA-funded EU potential candidate country, or if they get the candidate status, the much the better for me, and then to rebuild these countries in the same way like we have done it on the Western Balkans, and do that effectively and with this experience, but do it with the best experience. As I always say, my big problem with the European authorities is that they know exactly what to be done in Croatia, in Poland, and in now the Western Balkans, but the political leadership is not there, and then somehow we are stuck because we don't allow the euro to be introduced like in Montenegro, we don't allow a clear EU future like with Croatia. We do all these things too slow and too weak because we are unfortunately a little bit in this crisis since 2013, but we are getting over it, and we will develop and we will be very strong together. That is the best way to do it, and we will do that in a successful manner. And I will check all this and I will show you how we can do it in my economic contribution this week. I will also make interviews about the economic reform agenda, about the political reform agenda, about how to reduce informality, how to support SMEs. Let's never forget how to have regional development agencies, EU style, and nothing I do is a secret. Everything is anyhow completely clear and already well proven. We just have to have the political decisions, and that's also my motivation to do all these political activities, because people like me, economic reformers, cannot do their work properly, and it's much less effective when the macroeconomic and macro-political situation Tbilisi is happening here. And we are now going into this Kataisi, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's an ancient culture, it's a Christian culture, it's a European culture, and of course, to finish that off, I wanted to say we can only do our economic reform work, and the miracle of European SME policy can only work once the big macroeconomic, macro-political questions are at rest, like NATO, EU and the euro, and then, you know, the magic of capitalism and market economy and the European economic model can do their beautiful improvement of the people's life and prosperity. And Georgia has already done a lot of that, so it's relatively easy to get this done once the big issued items are finished, and the big issue items are of course the European ones, and that is the very logical. I will also continue to publish on that one. We have to have Georgia in the euro, like Montenegro, like Kosovo. This is the biggest priority, and we need also to have a firm EU-funded direction. This trajectory is absolutely vital, and that's what we have to do, and that's what we will do, absolutely. And I'm very much looking forward to explaining all these things during my visit in economics, in politics, in EU accession, the campaign. By the way, if you have not done it already, can you please share the petition and also make sure that you sign it? It's a very beautiful activity. Thanks, Kati, for doing this. So we have a very good framework of activities, the EU accession and the petition to do that, and that's perfect. And we are now entering this town. It's you could be in Skopje as well, just the letters are different. So the logic is, and I will also talk a lot about how the EU has made peace successfully in Macedonia, and we have made such progress. For example, Macedonia has been the role model, but it was not possible because here the 19th of April agreement was destroyed, and we are now in a big mess again, and that's what is needed. Here the railway infrastructure, much of it, that's the town here, and that's it looks quite similar to a smaller Ukrainian town. You see the structures. We are going into the center now, and we see everything here. It's beautiful, one of the shopping centers, and I really like it. And that's very good. Tbilisi, 220 kilometers I still have to do. Yerevan, 520. Baku, 830. I'm a second time only in the Southern Caucasus. I was just once in Georgia. I've never made it to Baku, but I will only go to friendly countries where I know in general that they like me. They still have everywhere these money exchange offices. That's one of the problems. It looks quite similar like Chisinau. You have seen Chisinau the last week, and of course it looks also quite similar like Kiev. Yeah. They're very similar economic development status. Here, of course, they had this big progress of the years from 2000. This was so 2003. Soon 20 years. Unfortunately, it's not everything fine politically here, and this will be some of the discussions which I always will lead during this week, and I will be very active, but I was told not to be too active, but I will be. So this is very beautiful. I'm very happy in this beautiful town. It's a town similar to Linz in the size, I guess, and it's beautiful regional capital. It's in the center. It's more already to the coast, yeah, but it's not Guria, so it's not the logical partner town, because I would like this Guria region to connect with Upper Austria. That would be really wonderful, and that's what I will try to do. And here I head onwards and upwards. I see everything very nice they have. And regional prosperity is, of course, the big thing. The EU is really very good because we are based on competition, we are based on fair development, on equal development, all regions competing for investment and for prosperity. They have the regional self-representation. That's what federalism is, Austrian style, and SME development. That's what needed, and that's what we're gonna do in this beautiful town. We are entering now the palm trees area. That's very beautiful here. And yes, I decided to fly here because of the Wizz Air flight. So it is also very good to see this former capital and to see there's a lot of palm trees here that I like very much. Similar like in Durres and Flora, just the sea is a bit further away. It's about another, I think, 200 kilometers to the sea. And I'm heading now actually east then towards Tbilisi with some minibus. And then I will show you these beautiful developments here. And it looks very good. Of course, there's much more to be invested in terms of prosperity. But this will... Oh, Spar is already here. Oh, and Usk. You see, that's really good. You see the Austrian and German companies and the Danish companies are already active here in Georgia. And there's a lot of international investors in Georgia, and that's very, very positive. And that will be also one of the discussions I will lead here. And I will give you the impressions. And you can then see the city yourself. You can also understand. I think it will be also for me to learn about Georgia, because it's not that I know everything about Georgia already. I know one thing, I know that for sure, that Georgia must be in the European Union. And I apologize to my Georgian friend and to everybody actually. I was not active enough on Georgia. No, I was not believing in that one as well. Maybe 25 years ago we were busy with EU enlargement, and I never took the invitation to come here to Georgia of my EDS friends. And yes, it was a mistake. We should have been maybe more courageous already in the 1990s. But then Georgia was a really very complicated place, and the Soviet Union, I was actually very often there, and I always said we have to do that. But I was a young student then, and we should have intervened much more heavier in the Russian transition. But there were bigger forces, and we lost this battle for the direction of Russia, and therefore then they took country by country back again, and that is the situation. Yeah, it's beautiful and it's nice, and soon I will be in the center and I will show you the beautiful parts of Kataisi, and it is very nice, and I will give you more information about this beautiful place. And thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe to Pax Europiana, Peace in Europe. We need peace in Europe, and we need that very much now. That is very important, and please, whatever you can do to support peace, do that, and also share the petition for Georgia in the European Union. Thanks a lot. More to come from Pax Europiana. Bye.